Hey, Lily. Hi, Ron. Hi, Vanessa. Let me get you promoted. And there we go. Hang on. All right, I've got you promoted, but for whatever reason, it doesn't seem to want to promote you, Vanessa. I'm not sure. Maybe you're on a phone, but good to see you. There we go. Awesome. All right. Hi. Good to see you. Hi, Lily. Good to see you too.
Hi.
Let me turn up my thing. Okay. So, hi, Ron. Good to see you.
Hello, hello.
All right. Let's see who else we got. All right. People coming in. Hey, Heather. Let me get you promoted up. There we go. How you guys doing today? How's your Monday so far?
Very good. Good.
Awesome sauce. Let's hear some good stuff. What do you guys got going on? All right. I'll go with good stuff. Actually, what am I doing? I have a stack of paperwork about this tall that I'm working on my taxes. So better late than never. Hey, Randy, I'm getting you promoted right now. Good to see you.
You guys are like high tech on this. I didn't even know you could promote people.
Oh, trust me, I have been stressing out over it because I am not high tech. I'm about as low tech, love paper as you can possibly get. There we go. All right. Who else we got here? Still people coming on. Not sure. I've got a phone number here and it won't let me promote. So if you're on the phone, I cannot get you promoted. All right. Someone has some good news or something cool that's happened this week or weekend?
Well, I tell you what, I do. In Central Illinois,
Yeah.
it's about 40 degrees.
Oh my gosh.
That's a good thing because that means spring is on its way. I'm ready to start gardening.
At 40?
No, just, I'm a little anxious on it. So
I
we're
don't
just
blame
happy
you.
that, yeah, we're just happy that there's sunshine out today. So it's been pretty dark here. It's the worst time of winter right now. Is like right before it starts turning warm because it's just like, okay, I'm over it. I'm over it.
I completely understand. I used to live in Washington State. I'm in Florida now. So we had our week of winter and we're done now.
You don't understand at all if you live in Florida.
Now, hang on. I'm from Washington State and winter was okay up until about January 2nd. And then it's done. There's nothing cool to look forward to. There's no holiday. There's nothing. I'm just like, I'm done with you now.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I am that's why I live in Florida now, actually. We moved my mother-in-law in with us. Hey, Nellie. Good to see you. We moved our mother-in-law from Washington State in with us. Oh, I don't know, about 9 months ago, I guess. And we had our week of winter. And I was like, oh, thank goodness that's done. She's like, what do you mean? I'm like, that's it. That's it. You have 1 week of winter and then maybe 2 if it's a really rough year. And then you're done.
Wow.
Yeah. So awesome sauce. All right. It's straight up on the hour. We'll see if some other people are coming in. Who here, out of curiosity, let's see some hands, has had a Zoom or a coaching session with Gary over the past couple of weeks? Maybe the past 2 weeks. I see.
I'm driving.
Very cool. So Betty and Nellie. Okay, this is for the rest of you guys. I know Gary would
Past
say.
Monday.
Perfect. Get your coaching sessions set up with Gary so we can help you, especially as we're moving into some spring. Have you guys been watching the news at all? Have you guys been seeing the blurbs that are coming out about that we're in a housing bubble and it's ready to pop soon? Has anyone seen that also?
What does
Nope.
that mean?
Oh, good question.
Yes, they keep talking about that, like all day long.
Finally, right? I mean, I haven't seen anything until the past like weekend maybe, and then I saw about half a dozen. I was shocked. So,
And I'm seeing a lot of price drops over here in Texas.
really
I've been seeing that, yes. So,
interesting.
mhm,
We pulled numbers in Atlanta and the top of the market's completely flat now. It's been a while since I've pulled numbers in any of the other areas. Last time I pulled them was a while ago in Nashville, and we saw some stuff starting to flatten out there also. So who asked what that means, by the way?
Hey, Nellie.
Nellie, okay. Does anyone want to answer her what it means with the housing bubble while I'm promoting in people? Who's my brave person who would like to do that?
Driving.
Pardon me?
I said I'm driving. That's all. Like, I went for a hike. I had to de-stress from all the.
Gotcha. Well, don't look at us. You look at the road. You're fine. So housing bubble. Ron, I know you're one of our guests, but I'll bet you've got some good insight in on this one. You want to talk for a minute while I'm promoting people in?
I would be happy to. I don't know that I've got a ton of insight on this. Probably not more than all of you guys do, because you're out active in the field every day, and I'm, growing a business to support the industry. One of the things that I'm hearing, and my focus really, Gina, is all about new construction. So, I don't watch the numbers much on pre-owned homes at all. It's a huge seller's market, and that's no news to anybody. One of the things that we're hearing from a home building standpoint is that it's really going to start leveling off at the end of the year. Now, the reports that we've heard for years is that we're about 4 million homes short on new construction. There's tons and tons of new construction buyers, and the numbers just keep increasing with people that want a new home. And but there's a big shortfall. And then right now what's happening is a lot of the big production builders are really, really ramping up. And so they're looking towards fourth quarter of 22 that they're going to be having a ton more new construction homes that are coming on in the market and in many of the metro markets around the United States. But I don't know that that's what you really wanted to know.
It's good though.
It's good.
And it is. So housing bubble, what Ron was saying, that we're short, we're looking at it switching around towards the end of the year, I think you said, as I'm busy trying to promote people like crazy. It's a fast run up and then a burst. And so it's an interesting little bit that we're in right now with this run up and the market being so volatile and everything. In order, if you want, we can go through just a minute or two so that you guys can tell when it's shifting in your market. Would that be helpful for you guys before we dig into today?
I like every information you guys give me.
Love it. Okay, well, I'm not good at doing two things at once, but I'm going to keep on working on promoting people up into panelists and bringing people in as I try and answer this. Run the numbers in your area and pick a geographical area. Any geographical area you want, doesn't matter, school district, zip code, city, county, whatever it is that you want to look at. And then run every single thing that's sold over the past 30 days. So because it's April 4th, it's perfect to run a list of everything that's sold in March. Do not sort it out by square footage, bedroom, bathroom, anything. Just run a raw list of every single thing that's sold. And then do the same thing, but change your dates to run that same list again for what sold in February, and then what's sold again in January. So you'll have 3 reports when you're done. You'll have every single thing that's sold in that area for the month of January, and then again the month of February, and again the month of March. And you're looking for that single line report that has at the bottom, maybe the top, but it has the average list price, the average sales price, and the average days on market. So you're looking for those 3 numbers and build yourself a little graph that has those three numbers and look and see what's going on. And you'll be able to tell when your market starts to shift and what you're looking for specifically, because the market's really, I mean, everyone just says it's really hot. You're looking for days on market. If it's below 14, that is a fake number. And what I mean by that is I listed the house on Thursday. I had people out there Friday and Saturday. I got my offers in on Sunday. I probably could have gone pending on Monday, but I chose to keep it open for another week to get as much business as possible. So if it's below 14, it is a fake number. If it is above 14, is a real number. So you'll see like maybe there was 8 days on market 90 days ago, and then 18 days, and now 28. So the story behind something like that, if you're saying that, is, hey, Mr. Buyer, I know you were thinking you were getting beat up when you were making your offers out there because you were losing so many times. But what we're seeing now is that many of our buyers are getting their first offer accepted. And I know that because if it's 28 days on market, I know that they don't have 8 offers they're negotiating through. They have 1. So that's how I know that. Mr. Seller, I know that you wanted to wait until it was officially summer to list. Might want to list now because we're starting to see the market go a little soft, a little weaker right now. And it will start with that top dollar point. So it'll start with the top end of the market will go soft first. So if you start to see some weird numbers, like when we pulled it in Atlanta, we saw some really weird numbers. What we did then is divided it out by price points. What we saw is that upper market is not selling at all. That lower and mid is, but that upper market's not. And so then that's the first market that will start to shift. So now we know that we're probably on the very beginnings of a shift out in that area. So run those numbers, run them every single month, and just watch them and watch and see what those graphs do. And then that gives you your story. Does all that make sense, y'all? Say yes, give me some head nods.
Yeah.
All
Yeah.
right, thank you. All right. Lisa, you've got your hand up. Is there anything that we can help you with? before we launch?
Yeah, Gary just sent me a text. It says, please tell Gina she has to unmute the callers, not promote them.
Oh, I can do that. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And if you can continue doing that and letting me know if there's stuff like that I need to be doing, please let me know.
Will do. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you. Okay, perfect. All right, let's launch into our guest today. So I have on with us Ron Williams. Ron is with a company that actually is his company called Hoodle, which is this great mashup between neighborhood and Google, he taught me. And so what Ron's going to talk to us about is exploding your new home sales and listings without needing a big, huge marketing budget or a big, huge team, not like our team, behind you. So it's going to be exploding your business through new home sales. So Ron, you're on. And let me share, let me make you a host so that you can share your screen if you'd like. And as soon as I figure out how to do that, you will be there. You are now a co-host.
Cool. Hey guys, thank you so much. And Gary, thanks for the invite. And Gina, thanks so much for the introduction and for kind of giving me a heads up about how your program works. Honestly, when I heard Gary talking about it and Gina talking about the group, I felt like, I need to be here just listening to you guys and learning from you. Because I'm sure that you guys have a wealth of knowledge and information being out in the markets. And let me ask this, where are most of you from? Big metro markets, or where's most everybody from? Is there a general area? Is it all over the United States? And hey, Gary, I see you in the chat there.
Atlanta.
Atlanta, where else?
Miami.
Okay.
Las Vegas.
Vegas. Texas, where in Texas?
San Antonio.
San Antonio. All right, cool. Where else?
Orlando.
Houston Metroplex.
Nashville, Tennessee.
Nashville, and I didn't hear Neil.
Houston Metroplex.
Houston. All right, home of the big home builders. That's where the whole home building industry started. And Jacksonville, I see Jacksonville and New York City and Atlanta, Nashville, Monterey, California. How many of you guys are, and gals, guys and gals, if I say guys, I mean, all of us, but how many folks are active in residential new construction now? Where you've either worked if you worked on the buyer side or you worked on the builder side, or is it like something you'd like to do but don't know how to do? So Craig says, Craig, you and I have spoken before, Craig, a while back. So I'm glad to see you here.
Yeah, Roland, how are you?
I'm doing very well, sir. Thank you. But how many of you guys folks have worked in new construction or would love to learn how to work in new construction?
Yeah.
Gina says, yeah. Lou says, yeah. Randy says, yeah. So I didn't have a big agenda today, but just to tell you a little bit about what I've learned in the market, okay, which has been a lot over a long period of time. And, I'll tell you a little bit about the things that we discovered when we started this and kind of what we're doing now, if that would be okay, Gina. That'd be all right? Okay.
Please do.
Guys, my name's Ron Williams. I'm based out of Central Illinois. I'm the founder of a new web platform that is taken off across the United States all over the place called Hoodle. Kind of a goofy name, isn't it? I'll show you what it looks like as we go here. Let me see if I can share my screen. Yes, he can be taught. So that's the Hoodle website, and now I can't see you guys. So it's one of the things I do not like about Zoom. But I started as a realtor back in 2001, and after a long tenure as a executive recruiter, headhunter, I had a couple of recruiting businesses. And for some crazy reason, got into real estate and became a realtor. Went to work with Coldwell Banker, and realized right away that man, there's a lot of realtors out here. I got to do something if I'm going to not be lost in the noise. And now there's even way more. In fact, I think NAR just came out with a report a few months ago, said there's over 2 million realtors in the United States. Hello, talk about market saturation. That's just nuts. And the problem is we all tend to be doing kind of the same thing as everybody else is doing. And I know everybody's got something that's a little bit different, and some people have marketing strategies and stuff. But one of the things I saw for me was I had to niche. I just had to niche. And I think moving forward, all realtors are going to have to find one or more niches that we're going to focus down on, because we can't serve everybody equally with high value. So the way to move ahead when there's that many realtors, and what's happened really with realtors is we become commoditized. And I still say my license is on the shelf at this point because I'm totally full-time and completely slammed with Hoodle. But, one of the things I saw was that we were all kind of doing the same thing as each other. And when that happens, the problem is in the eyes of the buyers and sellers and the general public, if they see us all as doing the same thing, then if there's no differentiation, then they will impute a differentiation on us. And that one differentiation, you know what it's going to be? If they can't tell a difference between Gina and Lou and Ron and Randy and Neil and Craig, then what's going to happen? What's the differentiation? That's it. Yeah. Can you give me, has anybody had that happen? Well, I'd like to have 1% of your commission after we're done, or could you pay the closing cost? So it basically becomes a differentiation of price. Who can they extract the most from, get the lowest price, or otherwise manipulate in some way or form, to get us to do a little bit extra, a little bit more. And that's a race to the bottom that nobody wants, right? So, for me, it was like, well, that's not going to work. Okay. I'm not giving away my hard-earned commissions. I'm going to niche down because I want to hold my value high. I want to be respected for what I'm doing. And I want to charge more, not less. And I'll tell you this, when I started niching, I niched in a lot of wrong things. Okay. And so I had a few years of getting into niches that, I was busy, but I was not making money. And it was not the kind of money that I wanted to make. And finally, something happened, and I started to discover new construction. And I started to go out and meet a lot of builders and walk through new construction homes. And I love new construction. I mean, you can, it smells good. It looks good. You get to see all the newfangled designs and the new appliances, all the cool stuff. But I also started to discover that there's some problems with it. And the first problem that I found was, and I won't get into great detail about this, but I'm happy to, dive into whatever you guys want to. But I started to see, first of all, I guess the first discovery when I started to specialize in new homes. This was back around 2003. And I'm not in a big hot market like Atlanta or Houston or San Antonio. I mean, you guys, where new construction is absolutely blowing up, But I started to find that there was a lot of new construction buyers that were not really being served. And what I mean by that is, there's a lot of, I guess what I would call latent or closet new construction buyers that really want to build a house. And, and the numbers really, when you get into it, are shocking. It's absolutely shocking that NAR does a survey every year of just buyers, of home buyers. And they come back, they survey about 7,000 buyers every year, and they put out this report year in, year out. 60% of people say they would rather have a new home than a used home, which shouldn't be that shocking because, if I'm going to buy a new car tomorrow, if I'm going to buy a car, I'd rather have a new car than a used car. Well, most people would rather have a new home than a used home, but that's not really what's happening, because what's happening out in the market every year is about 10% are actually pulling the trigger and buying a new home. So think about this. And I always think about it like a pie chart. If you're drawing a big pie chart and take about a 10% slice out of that pie chart, 10% of the buyer market in a given year is new construction. Okay. Now that number is spiking right now because last year it was actually over 16% of people that are buying new. So the number of buyers that are buying new, they're pulling the trigger on saying, hey, let's buy a new home, is about 10%, we can say. But yet 60% say that's really would be my preference. And you stop and think about that for 1 second, you go, wow, okay, so for every one person that buys a new construction home, there's 5 more that say that they want to. Interesting. But where it really gets interesting is the third number, and that's this. And if you were doing a pie chart, you had your 10%, you had your 60%. So 10% are the doers, the 60% are the dreamers, right? We want to do this someday. And the third number is the one that really blew me away. And that's this. It's a little bitty sliver on that pie chart, 1/10 of 1%. And that number represents the number of realtors who specialize in new construction. And you start to, you talk about an opportunity and a problem. And the way I always think of problems and opportunities like two sides of the same coin. When you discover a big problem out in the market, in our case, realtor market, real estate market, there's big problems when it comes to new construction. But the flip side of that is big opportunity. I didn't know this when I started into it. I was just, and so here's a couple of the problems that I found real quick. I got into it, discovered, okay, there's a lot of buyers. When I really started to ask people, and I'd say to people, hey, Neil, I'm specialized in new construction. This is after Neil has told me, or I'm meeting with Mr. and Mrs. Jones, and they said, hey, Ron, we want a 4-bedroom, 3-bath, 2.5-car garage, and I'd put it in the MLS and I'd say, here's the 37 homes that meet your criteria, back when there were 37 homes, and these days it might be 2, maybe. And, but one of the things I started asking people was, I'd say, well, hey, Craig, let me ask you something. Have you ever considered building new? And so many times people would go, oh my gosh, you're the first realtor who's ever offered to help us with that. And the first, I don't know, half dozen times I thought, oh, that's bogus. You've never, and the more that I heard it, I started to realize it was really true, that there's a lot of realtors that for one reason or another will dissuade their buyers from building a new house or persuade them not to, right? Maybe it's because I'm not sure I'm going to get paid in time. My commission's going to be longer. I don't know much about new construction. So I decided, well, okay, there's this problem. Buyers need new homes. They want new homes. There's no realtors are really doing it in my area. So I'm going to dive into it. And so I started to get into it and I found out, man, there are some real problems here. First problem that I found was that, found out about the buyers, but then, I started to learn the new construction buyers are different and the new home buyer journey is different. That, when it comes to buying a used home, we've got the MLS. We can go in and punch in whatever we want criteria wise and pull out this, clean, beautiful little list that says basically, here, folks, here's 100% of what's on the market today. right? We can even create reports on it. And every time a new one comes on, that's added, everything minus FSBOs. But when it comes to new construction, it's very, very different because first of all, you can't just punch it into the MLS and say, well, show me all the places where I can build a house. You can try, but what I started to discover in my market, and I didn't know where this was headed at the time. So, Lou, when I started this, I was just trying to solve a problem for new construction buyers. And one of the things I realized was the very first question that a new home buyer has is where. They don't start with what. They already know what the what is. They know they've got a dream home, sometimes been carrying it around in a folder or Pinterest board for years and years. And so they know what they want to build when they build the dream home. The thing that they don't know is, well, where can we build that dream home because of covenants and because of, rules and regulations and conformity rules within neighborhoods, right? If I want a ranch home or if I want a 2-story, if I want it. And so when it comes to new construction, it's all about the where. And here's the problem, that over 65% of new home neighborhoods are not listed on the MLS. In some cases, we go to some markets and they'll say, well, Ron, it's more than that here. It's like 75% of the neighborhoods. So, when we go to the MLS, we can always search for active residential lots, right? And we can pull up that and we can pull up spec homes sometimes on some MLSs, or we can search for homes that are on the market that are 0 years old to get at the new construction. Well, those numbers represent less than about 30%. And so what I started to see was, man, this is kind of messed up. And what we ultimately did, and I'm going to kind of skip forward here real quick. But I started off, I built a notebook and I was like, I had an assistant. I said, Linnell, we got to get every new home neighborhood because it doesn't matter if it's only got 1 or 2, 3 lots in it. What matters is it's a place that somebody might want to consider to build their house when they go to build their dream home. So we got to pull all this stuff together, the plats and the covenants and architectural review forms and the available lots. And every week I was discovering, and this is in Central Illinois, it's not the hotbed of home building, but every week I'm finding more and more neighborhoods that were available. And sometimes they'd be out in the woods, they'd have a river running through it. It'd be only have 3 lots. And people would tell me about them. And I'd drive out and I'd go, wow, this is beautiful. Somebody would love to build here. And I would see a developer sign and I'd drive through and I'd see no realtor signs. Okay. So I started to go, all right, well, this has got to be put together to make it easier for my buyers and to make it easier for me to help my buyers, right? We put together this notebook. It took us close to a year. And it was kind of crazy, Lou, because, we put all this stuff together and the day I had it done, and by this time, all the other realtors knew that I was doing this. Some of them were ticked off about it. Some of them were like, you doing what? You're going to put together a notebook to show everybody where all the neighborhoods, then what do they need us for? It's like, you know what? They need our help. Okay. My cost justification, my commission is not just that I told them where to go buy a lot. Okay. And so had this notebook and everybody and their mom wanted to borrow it. I mean, like the realtors were borrowing it, the builders were borrowing it, the other brokerages who were borrowing. I was a Coldwell banker, and I always had a hard time getting it back from Remax for some reason. I don't know why. Just the Remax folks, they're borrowing the notebook. And I sat down one day and I went through the whole list, Randy, and I'm looking at and I'm comparing what I've got in this big 3-ring binder with what's on the MLS in our market at that point. And I'm like, oh my gosh, there's 65, 70% of the neighborhoods that are not on the MLS. And all the realtors are borrowing this from me. I kind of thought I was the only one that didn't know this information. But if everybody's borrowing it from me, that means we're all kind of, I don't want to say lying, but we're certainly not telling the full truth to the buyers who want to build a new home. And every day, somebody's got a new construction buyer that they're trying to answer this question to. So what happened was, at one point it was like, well, I don't know, maybe I need to make 5 or 10 copies of the notebook so people can check them out. And luckily I didn't do that because I'm like Gina, I do not like paperwork. And so I hired a team of programmers. And I said, look, I need you to build me a website, and it's going to have every new home neighborhood in our local market, everyone. I don't care if it's got 1 lot in it, and it doesn't matter whether I've listed or not. Here's the interesting thing about neighborhoods. from a realtor standpoint, neighborhoods are publicly recorded entities. So what I discovered was I could add these entities to my website, and I could have every new home neighborhood. And what I was doing, and I wasn't fully aware of it at the time, but it was creating authority for me. It was creating unique value for the buyers through me, and it was creating a massive differentiation. Remember what we talked about when I started was we have to differentiate. We have to niche, we have to have authority, and we have to differentiate. And so I was creating this differentiation by solving a problem for buyers. But the other thing it was started to solve was it was getting my foot in the door with the builders and the land developers, which I really didn't fully anticipate. But all of a sudden builders were like coming out of the woodwork going, hey, what is this thing you're doing? I'm creating a website because buyers need to know where they can build. And a lot of the builders started coming around and going, well, hey, Ron, so you're going to have all these neighborhoods on, right? Yep. And a lot of the builders would say, well, I don't have a neighborhood, but I also don't have I'm a builder. I don't have a website. Could I be on the website? And so I went back to the programmers. I said, all right, so we need 2 pages here, guys. We need a page for neighborhoods and we need a page for builders. I'll show you what it looks like if I can real quick. So this is an example. Can you guys see that? I don't know if my Zoom window is in the way or not. Can you see that?
Yes.
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 Okay. All right. So what happens with Hoodle? And by the way, I know it's kind of a goofy name, but when I first started doing this, I thought, okay, Champagne New Homes. That's where I live, Champagne, and then, later on, well, maybe it's going to be US New Homes, but it's too boring, so we came up with this idea of Hoodle, which is basically a mashup of neighborhood and Google, right? Find the neighborhoods, the new home neighborhoods. And I wanted to have a place where buyers could come and see everything in their market, everything, if it's got one lot or all the lots, if it's whether it's townhomes or single family or condos, whatever, tear down neighborhood, they need to see what their options are and where they could go in and they could begin to, and let me see if I can do this. I don't know if I can type and talk at the same time. Probably. Oh, hey, look at that. And so like right now where I am in Champaign, Illinois, if somebody said, well, we want to build a house in 45-mile radius of Champaign. And I know that probably would just be downtown for Atlanta, but 45-mile radius of Champaign. Right now, there's 119 new home neighborhoods around Champaign where they could build. And they could come in and put in their home price, their size, their lot price, or we specifically want a lake, or we want a walkout basement, we want a pond, we want, bike paths. Now, this was a starting list of amenities of the neighborhood. Now this thing is getting enormous, because now Hoodle is all over the United States and it's like growing really, really fast. And now, down in Gina's neck of the woods, there's neighborhoods with zip lines and lazy rivers. And that's really what I want. I want a new home and a lazy river where I can just like float down and have the neighbors like hand me a margarita every time I go by, and but we've also put in school districts and making it really, really streamlined and simple for the buyers to say, well, where could I build? And then the next question that they have is, well, once they know and they can filter out the neighborhoods of where they can build, what's the next question? What do you think? They know what they want to build. They already have a dream home. They need to know where they're going to build. What's the next question?
Who's going to build it?
Who am I going to build with? Right. And I didn't see who said that, but it's who am I going to build with? What are my options? Most buyers do not understand the difference between production, semi-custom, and custom, let alone who they should be thinking about. They might not have 1 or 2 or 3 that they like, but here's the way we are as consumers, right? The way we are as consumers today is I want to know my options. Randy, if I was going to fly down and, wherever you are and, pick you up and we're going to go get movie tickets, I could go online and see every movie that's in your area, this weekend. And that's the way we operate as consumers. If I want to buy a book, I go to Amazon. If I want to buy a pair of tennis shoes, I go to Zappos and I can see everything. And if I don't like them, I can ship them back and they pay, the bigger the purchase too, the more complex the purchase, the more we need to know, the more we need to research and know our options. Even a new car, you can go online. There's 30 different websites where you can find anything and everything. You can build your own car on some websites, but here the largest, most complex purchase that anybody ever makes is building a new home. Over 1 million people a year do it, and that number is going up, going way, way up. And there is not a single solitary place you can go to say, where are the neighborhoods that fit my criteria, not the realtor's criteria, my criteria. I don't care if I'm a buyer, I don't care if it's listed or not. I don't care if I want to know what my options are. And as realtors, we should want to know that for them, right? So first thing is got to know where, second thing is got to know who. And so we don't really fully understand, most buyers don't understand the difference between a master planned community and you only get one builder. If you move in here, you're getting Lennar. And you got one of these 5 floor plans. You can choose the red door or the blue door, right? The red pill or the blue pill, right? But or an open neighborhood where there's maybe several builders, or you can bring your own builder. And so we started building. We had put in a builder page. It kind of looks like this. Let me see if I can find one that's already open. So this was actually one of the first developers that, and when we created the website, I told the programmers, look, I don't have time to build all these pages for all these developers. I will, but if they want to build their own, I'm going to let them put their own page on. This was the very first developer, I think, that added a page to Hoodle. And it's kind of sucky, really. I mean, it's not, their photography is not that great, their logo, blah, blah, blah. But the interesting thing is they got buyers off of it right away because buyers are online. New construction buyers or used home buyers, they're online. NAR says like 100% of buyers now go to the web pretty early in their buyer journey. Well, the same is true and probably even more true for new construction buyers. But the problem was they couldn't find any place. And so here's what a page looks like for a neighborhood. And so they put this on and they added a few photos. Their photos weren't real great. And they dropped in their plat maps. And, I think they've got a master plan document and some other subdivision documents like the HOA information. And I think they had some incentives. And so we put all this stuff on the website so anybody could build a page. It's like doing a Facebook page. Super, super simple. And I'm not techie. And, if you haven't seen it already, on the Zoom call, I am not a techie guy. So I told the programmers, you got to make this like drop dead simple for me, because I'm not going to be calling you every time I got to get on here. And if a builder wants to get on and create a builder page, or a neighborhood developer wants to create a neighborhood page, or they want to create multiple pages, then, I don't want to have to pay somebody to do that. And, but we started to figure out, oh, look at this, we could connect this together. So here's a neighborhood page. Well, who are all the builders that happen to be building? It says owns home sites, but really, the truth is we're going to change that. Just whoever wants to build in this neighborhood or is building. And so from a consumer standpoint, buyer could all of a sudden go see all the neighborhoods, filter out very quickly the ones that meet their criteria, not the MLS's criteria, not my criteria, but here's everything that's available, 1 lot or 1,000. And then from there, they could start to click through and see, okay, well, who are the builders that are building in this neighborhood? And they can start to see information. And by the way, the builders can have unlimited floor plans. They can link to their other neighborhoods, and they can even add, and this is turned off in parts of the United States right now. We're getting ready to turn it back on. Tell me if you can hear this or not.
My name is Steve Mead. I'm with Signature Homes. What I'm building.
Yes.
Yeah.
A little bit more.
Yeah.
So what happened was we started to realize, and it really was not my intent. There was a couple of things that began to happen. One was builders started saying, and others in the real estate industry started saying, this changes the buyer experience, because for the first time, buyers are empowered when it comes to new construction. And like 2 or 3 things happened real quickly, and then I'll shut up and answer any questions or see if I can help you guys. One of the things that happened, first of all, when I started doing this, and this is something that you guys should think about if you want to get into new construction. First of all, if you want to be in new construction, get rid of in your vocabulary bigger and better. Just like cross it out, because every realtor is going out to the builders going, well, I'm from a bigger brokerage. I've got a bigger team. We've got a bigger marketing budget. We got a better marketing budget. We're bigger and better. And that's the thing that the builders say that they hear from realtors all the time. And it goes in one ear and out the other. The thing that they need to hear is new and different. I've got something new that you need to see, John, that's going to be helpful to you. I've got something very different that I think you're going to be interested, you're going to want to know about, John. And all of a sudden, John and Bill and Joanne and all the builders and all the developers, they want to know what's new and different about their market. Okay, because they know that their market is changing and they need to change with it. And they're way behind the times for the most part. So, you know, I started doing this and showed it to builders. And what began to happen was all of a sudden I had a couple new construction listings. I usually had 2 or 3 or 4 new construction listings and a lot here or there. Went from that to, I remember the first developer saying, hey, Ron, why don't you go ahead and list my whole neighborhood? And talk about a lot of work. You try to put 50 lots on and filling out all that paperwork, getting it all in the MLS, you know, and it's like, oh my gosh. But, you know, and right after it happened, about a month later, another developer said, hey, Ron, I've got this new phase coming. Why don't you go ahead and list that? And so I just kind of started to move from being low man on the totem pole and the new realtor and new construction to where I am like flying past everybody in my market. And a lot of them were, should I say, peeved, maybe pissed. I mean, you know, some of them were ticked off and like, you know, what are you doing? You know, you're putting all these neighborhoods and builders on the web. And the same thing was true, not just to the neighborhoods, but the builders were going, well, hey, Ron, you know, we got 3 listings or 3 spec homes that are going to be ready in March. Go ahead and put those on. And we got 2 more in April. And I moved from being a one-off realtor to where I'm doing a transaction to where I really was becoming more of a builder marketing partner. Now, that's something I would write down. If you take notes, I would write this down too. The thing that realtors have to change in the way we're thinking is stop thinking transaction, start thinking relationship. Stop thinking transaction, start thinking relationship. Because the way that builders are already, the way it's in their DNA to operate is they want to have a team of people that they're working with over and over and over again. And realtors don't get this. We're all thinking about, well, if I sell one of Bill's homes, you know, maybe Bill will give me a listing. You know what Bill would like to do? Bill would like one realtor or 2 or 3 or 5 to step up to the plate and say, hey, I want to learn your product. I want to learn your company. I want to understand your problems, the way your business operates, and I want to do it all. And the first time a builder told me this, it kind of shocked me, really, but I was experiencing it myself. And we were asked to come up and present what we're doing with Hoodle up in Chicago. And a builder rode along with us who really wanted to see it. And she already knew about it from Champaign. And we're riding up and I get to talking to her and she was, oh, I love Hoodle and blah, blah, blah. And I said, so, you know, what you really like about it is that you can get out in front of all the realtors, right? And so you can connect with all the realtors and all the buyers. And she said, not really. I said, well, what do you mean? And her name is Nicole. I said, what do you mean, Nicole? She said, Ron, you know, the way we operate as builders, I don't think realtors understand. I said, what is it? She said, you know, I'm going to do 30 houses this year. I said, okay. She said, how many roofers do you think I've got? How many roofing teams? I said, I don't know, 3. She said, I got 1. I said, she said, how many framers do you think I've got? Couple. I got 1. She said, how many HVAC companies do you think I have under contract? I said, 1. She said, no, I got 2. So I'm like, okay. She said, because HVAC operates a little bit differently. But she went through this whole thing. She said, this is the way builders think. They operate by building their subs and their teams, and that's the way they want to operate with realtors as well. Unfortunately, that's not the way realtors think about it. And so a builder, if they're building 100 homes, they're going to end up building one with this realtor, this realtor, this realtor, this realtor. And by the way, 80% of all new home transactions across the United States, there is a realtor involved. So the way they budget for it, and a lot of times realtors don't understand this either. The builders, if they're putting up 100 new homes, they've already calculated in 100 commission checks for Gina, for Neil, for Randy, for Craig, for Catherine, for whoever, right? They cannot assume that where we're getting 50% of these without a realtor being involved, and then they get caught flat-footed and they lose money, right? And by the way, and I'll just clear up one difference here, a couple differences. There is no difference in price if there's a realtor involved or there's not a realtor involved. And I get that a lot of times, and you guys probably already know all this stuff, but a lot of times people are like, well, you know, can't the buyer get the house a little bit cheaper? If there's, or can't they get, you know, a discount without the, no, they cannot. The builder gets to keep more. And so obviously they're going to want to keep more profit, but the house is, the buyer's not getting it a dime cheaper. If there's a realtor, they're not. All they're doing is they're not being represented. So anyway, what happened was, you know, I built the website and all of a sudden I'm kind of like flying ahead, really. And a couple of things happened that were really interesting. That I get a call from the owner of our Coldwell Banker, our local franchise. And I knew him, but I didn't know him well. He was a big Coldwell Banker that I worked for. And he said, hey, you know, heard about what you're working on. And would you like to meet the CEO of Coldwell Banker? And I thought he was talking about his franchise. The CEO of Coldwell Banker. He's coming through Illinois and we'd like you to meet with him if you'd be open to it. Can get you about 8 minutes with him, maybe 10. And so he flies in. I drove about 45 minutes, meet with a really, really great guy. I did only seen him on CNN, Gina, and read his name in Wall Street Journal. And, you know, sitting down with the big cheese, you know, and a couple of the VPs from Coldwell Banker that over the whole thing worldwide. And, you know, the whole time I'm kind of showing him this and he said, I've never seen this before. I've never seen this before. He said, everything comes across my desk. Never seen this. And we get done with the meeting about an hour later. And he says, after my 10-minute meeting, and he says, we'd really like you to consider flying out to meet with our parent company, Realogy. You guys familiar with Realogy? And so all of a sudden, here's this, you know, I don't want to say young, I'm not young, but I was young as a realtor, you know, and I didn't know jack about new construction. And they're going, hey, we'd like you to come in and meet the C-suite of Realogy. Okay. You know, and I'm starting to realize, all right, I've stepped into something a little bit bigger than what I anticipated. And then the next thing that happened a couple months later, I get a call from the local home builders association. And they said, hey, you know, a lot of builders were starting to talk about this. And, you know, would you come and show us what you're doing? And so I go down to the local HBA and they rented a big conference room. And there was about 60 builders there that night. That was the first time I'd ever seen 60 builders sit still for 5 minutes, you know, and we put it up on the wall and we're clicking around and these guys are going, this needs to become like an MLS for home building. And I'm, you know, Gina, I'm still thinking, all right, you know, I'm going to be the go-to realtor in Champaign for new construction. And they're like, and one guy says, nope, you know, he raises his hand, really good builder and great guy. And, you know, and he said, he was one of the first Airbnb investors. And he said, this reminds me of when Airbnb started, but for home building. And I tell you what, you probably could have heard a pin drop, you know, it got real silent in the room. People are like, yeah. So we get this thing wrapped up and go home. I get a call early the next morning from the EO, the executive officer of the HBA. And he said, hey, I need you to come into my office. We need to talk. And I'm like, uh-oh. You know, I really stepped in it now, and I ironed my shirt, put a tie on. You know, I was all ready to be chewed out, I guess, and went in. And he said, you know, you left last night. The builder sat and talked about this for an hour. He said, Ron, I don't know if you know, but this is a problem in every city in the United States. And he said, the builders love it. They've never seen anything like it. And he said, the builders say, he said, this is going to change things. And I said, why do they think it's going to change things? He said, two things. And then maybe there's a third one that's come up as well since then. He said, the two things that everybody says, it's going to level the playing field. It's going to empower new home buyers for the first time to see all of their options. Okay. And right now they can't without what we're doing. And, you know, there's just very little, I mean, there's New Home Source that you guys might know about, but New Home Source is owned by the top 29 builders in the US. So that's their clientele, is the top 29 builders, not the buyers who want to see everything big and small. Just because a builder is a small builder and they don't have a marketing budget, or they don't have marketing at all, doesn't mean they're a bad builder. They just don't want to market. Well, guess who has the opportunity to solve this problem? It's not the builders. Yeah, exactly. Randy does, you know, so Randy has the opportunity to step in. I mean, what are we? We are real estate marketing professionals. And here we've discovered this whole, by the way, so I said 65% of the neighborhoods are not on the MLS. Some areas it's more than that. Guess what? On builders, on the builder part, about 80% of builders are SMBs. They're mom and pops. They have little or no marketing on the web. They might have a little WordPress site. Some of them have some templates. They're getting more of them. They know that they need to be on the web, but it's not what they want to do. They want you to do it. They want Randy to do it. And they want Neil to do it. And they want Craig to do it. And so when we take this new approach and what I call builder marketing partner, all of a sudden, you know, things are moving ahead. So anyway, the guy calls me up and says, come down to my office. I go down to his office and he said, you know, we talked about this and for about an hour. It's a problem all over the United States. He said, the reason I had you come in early, he said, would you come and present this to the leadership of the state of Illinois in 2 or 3 weeks? And they were having their annual meeting. And he said, I hope you don't mind, but we've already spoken to the president of the National Association of Home Builders. And they would like for you to fly out to DC with your team, which I really didn't even have a team. They were all outsourced people at that time, you know. And he said, you know, once you guys fly out and meet with the leadership of the NAHB. Whew, man. And, you know, all of a sudden it's like, man, what did I step into here, you know? And we started to get invited, Neil, to go and present to other HBAs around Illinois and around the Midwest. And every place we went, every place, we'd walk in and we'd present to builders and, you know, it'd be a group of builders and people like, we've needed this for 10 years. Where have you been? And the third thing, so they said there was 2 things that make it different. One is it empowers the buyers. 2 is it levels the playing field between the very biggest builders and the smallest builders. That a small builder can have a page on here or have pages, small developer, and they can reach their target demographic of buyers the way the buyers want to shop. Buyers don't want to go to 5,000 different builder websites. They want to go to one and then find their options and then move out from there. And so it levels the playing field between Lennar and John Smith and Sons. And the third thing that has come up a lot of times from builders now that we've started doing this is a lot of builders will say it raises the bar with realtors. The realtors now are able to step into the new home transaction at a higher level, provide more value to the builder, the developer, and the buyer. Well, here's what happened. So anyway, long story short, maybe it's still long, but you know, we pretty quickly after that started testing out, and I kept it pretty close to the vest for a few years, really, and didn't do much with it. I was trying to sort it out, and then the year before COVID hit, we had a lot of investors that are like coming into town and stuff, and reaching out to me and going, "Hey, you know, we like this model, but you got to get out of Dodge. You know, Champaign is not the place to prove it." And so we went over to Indianapolis, and it's 2 hours away. I could get in and out of Indianapolis really easy. And every place we went, by the way, it held true, and it was even bigger and worse than what I thought. That there was nobody, and there's nobody today. If I go to Nashville, if I go to Atlanta, if I go to Houston, if I go to the board of realtors or the HBA or brokerage or builders or anybody and said, how many new home neighborhoods are there in Greater Houston? We don't know. Okay, well, how many builders are there? Big or small? How many companies are there that could do a building project for somebody? I don't know. You would think that the Home Builders Association would know. They don't. And it's just like, this is kind of crazy, really. I mean, when you think about it, you just step back and go, if we don't even know how many there are, how in the world can I tell a buyer with any degree of confidence there are 8 of them that meet your criteria of what you want to, you know, the type of house you want to build? You want the horse stable? There's 4 of them that have a horse stable. We don't even know what they are. And you start to see this is broken. It's not a little bit broken. It is fundamentally broken. And if you write anything down, I would write that down. The new home buyer journey today is fundamentally broken. And the people who have the opportunity to fix it are Randy and Neil and Gina and Craig and Catherine and all of you, you know, that you can step into it in any market. And so here's what happened. We started opening up for Indianapolis. And my wife is much smarter than I am. And she said, you know, before you go finding the builders and trying to get them onto your website, why don't you go find the realtors? It's like, oh yeah, hello. My business blew up with it. And I love realtors. And so that was interesting too, because we couldn't find them. You know, just 2 hours away, here I am, a realtor. I specialize in new construction. It was so hard for me to find the ones who really, every realtor can have on their card new construction, right? We can all do that, but really finding the ones that genuinely knew it or wanted to know it and were making steps to become the go-to for new construction was difficult. And we kept finding, wow, if I was a buyer, I would be like super, super frustrated. I can see why they give up on it. You know, that 50 or 60% of them, five out of six give up on it, something like that. And don't do it. And so what happened was, you know, we went over and finally started figuring out who the realtors were that really were serious about new construction. And there's not many. Guys, if you ever think about getting into new construction, I'll tell you what, there's a wide open opportunity window for realtors to take a new approach. It's a new approach. What we do is completely different. It's not about going out chasing Bill down and, well, Bill, I always like to ask realtors, what do you do? What do you do now to get a hold of builders? Well, we do pop buys. Anybody doing pop buys? I'm not going to pick on you if you do. Okay. But you know, realtors like, well, I do pop buys. What's a pop buy? Well, you know, I go out there with a bottle of wine. I just happen to be in the neighborhood. Thought I'd drop off a bottle of Cab Sauv for you, you know, and or Girl Scout cookies or candy kisses or something, you know. And it's like, I don't want to do that because I think it subtly says, hey, this is my value to you, builder. I'm the candy kisses guy, right? I'm the realtor that's going to bring you the Subway sandwiches. That's not what they want. They want marketing value. They want business value. They want somebody who's going to learn their business, learn the way they think about their business. Too much to talk about. So we started in Indianapolis and finally started finding the realtors. And I said, I didn't even know what to tell them. I just said, well, here's this website. You can log on. You can create your own neighborhood pages. I don't care if you've listed them or not. Doesn't matter. They won't matter. It won't matter to the builders either. Just find a neighborhood that's not on here and add it. And you're going to start getting some buyers eventually. And within 3 days, literally 3 days, one of the first realtors that got on called me up and said, I just got 2 buyers because of Hoodle. I was like, how'd that even work? You know? And she said, well, it was kind of unusual. She said, but I put on, I think it was a Pulte neighborhood. It's one of the big ones. She put on a neighborhood and and by the way, we tell the realtors, just go out and take pictures. Go out and become a neighborhood expert on a neighborhood that you like and add it to the website. And by the way, what happens now, I'll show you what it looks like. This is actually more what it looks like is, so Mike is an affiliate realtor with Hoodle and he added this page and it's very easy to do, but then, you know, he adds a bunch of photos and it doesn't say he's a listing agent. He's a neighborhood expert, which he is. It's got his phone number and it's got his email address. And if buyers want to, they can pick up the phone or they can email him or they can hit a button and send him a message directly on Hoodle. And so that lead goes directly to Mike. And so every page that Mike or any realtor creates, every neighborhood they create, those buyers go directly to that realtor. That's just the simplest way that I knew to set it up, you know. And so this realtor calls me up and says, I just got 2 buyers off of Hoodle. I said, how'd that work? You just put a page up. She said, I created a page. I went out and met with the community manager, Pulte. And she said she loved it so much. She said, oh, hey, before you go, and she didn't know her. She said she never met her before that day. And she said, before you go, she said, I love this so much. She said, I want to give you something back. She said, we've got 2 buyers that we can't do anything with. Would you go ahead and take these? And so it's kind of a weird thing, you know, I mean, so it didn't come from the website. So next thing, about 3 weeks later, I get a call from, so we're starting to pick up in Indianapolis and things are happening, things are popping. I get a call from a brand new realtor. So here's this myth I want to dispel for you guys. Okay. If you want to get big in new construction, it's about being new and different. Okay. It's about providing unique value and authority. Okay. One of the things realtors always say is, well, you can't get into new construction unless you were there before the neighborhood started. Baloney. You can't get into new construction unless you already know new construction. Nope, not true. You can't do new construction if you're a new realtor. Not true. Those are all myths. Because I've seen it over and over and over again. So one of the things that happened, this brand new realtor calls me. I think he said he had 6 months as a realtor. And I don't remember who he's with. He was like, out on the cliff. He was like, Gina, he was like, I'm so depressed and I'm not making it. And I really wanted to do new construction. Somebody told me, do you need any help? I was like, yeah, we do. There's like probably 1,400 new home neighborhoods that need to be put on Hoodle for Indianapolis. And so I told him how to do it. I said, create a neighborhood page, then go out and meet the developer. Just go out, talk to the developer, show them what you're doing. You're not asking them for anything. You're not charging them anything. You're just out there to bless them. You're just to do something good, you know? And I gave him minimal coaching because I really didn't know how to coach people at that point. And so literally 4 days later, this guy calls me back and it's like I'm talking to a different guy. And he's like, I need to talk to you. He's like, he's laughing. He's like, you're not going to believe what happened. I said, I don't know what's going on. He said, I did what you said. I created a page, went out, had it on my iPad. He said, I got a really nice iPad, showed it to the community manager, and he didn't know them and they didn't know him. And he's a brand new realtor. And the community manager said, oh, this is beautiful. This is better marketing than we have on our own website. And she said, but you know what? I'm the wrong person to talk to. I just take care of the people that come in the front door. And she said, but you know, our VP of sales is here today. Hang on one second. Let me go get him. And the realtor said, his name was Dave, said, I didn't know what to think, you know. So this is a big builder company. And she comes back out with the VP of sales and marketing. She said, now explain it to him. He said, well, it's this website for home building across the United States. And, you know, we really want to promote and make it easier for new home buyers to be able to find your neighborhoods and you as a builder and what your products are. And the guy says, would you excuse me for a second? Goes with the community manager into a back room. And the realtor says he could see him. They pull up on the wall, big monitor, and they're clicking around on their neighborhood page on Hoodle. And, you know, they're scrolling around, they click in, they look at some of the stuff, you know, and they're looking at stuff and they come back out and the guy says, the VP sales says, I absolutely love this. Would you put all 22 of our neighborhoods on Hoodle for Indianapolis? And so I said, what did you tell him? He said, I told him, you understand the leads are coming to me. The buyer leads are coming to me, not me, Ron, but him, the realtor. And the guy said, you know what? More power to you. We've been wanting realtors to step up into this for a long time. And he said, I would love for you to get all the buyers. So guys, that was like in the first couple of months. And I won't tell you the rest of the stories because we don't have time, but every place we've gone, and there's so many realtors that are joining all of the, probably 3 months in, somebody called me from Orlando and said, hey, can I start it down here? And my cousin's doing it with you in Indianapolis. And then it was Fort Myers, and then it was Raleigh and Winston-Salem and Louisville. And every place we've gone, realtors are calling me, not every single realtor, but the ones who are using it. And it really comes down to, are you going to use it? You know, it's not well, I signed up and, you know, where's my stuff? You know, it's like, it's an opportunity. It's kind of like a toolbox of a new way to connect with builders and developers and new construction buyers. And so you're building value in all three directions and uniqueness and differentiation and authority. And, you know, I've had so many realtors that call me up going, I just put my first page on, met with a developer, and I just got a $450,000 listing. And to me, that never happened before, not even when I was a realtor. But it's starting to happen over and over. And we're just kind of at the tipping point now. So in the last 2.5 years since we've got this going, and we're still learning. I mean, we're early stage, but we're now in over 70 different markets from coast to coast, and it's kind of blowing up. And I'm sorry I talk too long, Gina. Every time I start talking about this stuff, there's so much to tell about, but I appreciate you guys so much. And let me shut up. Is there any questions, or does this resonate with anybody at all?
Frigging awesome.
Absolutely. Where can we sign up?
Well, we actually have a sign up page. So I don't know who said that, but I can show you the subscription page. Would that be okay, Gina?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay with us.
While you're looking that up, I know there's some more questions in here. I saw one. Hang
Well,
on.
why don't we start with questions first, you know,
Let's go there.
Yeah. And I apologize, I haven't had a chance to read the comments on the chat
That's
window.
okay. We'll take care of it for you. I know I saw one in there. Someone had something about, what about builders with their own sales teams? How do you approach them? That was one.
What does it cost?
It's like stupid cheap. I'm just,
I'm stupid and I'm cheap. So,
yeah. Well, I doubt you're stupid, but if you're a realtor, you're probably pinching pennies like the rest of us.
right.
So,
So when we sign up, I'm sorry.
go ahead.
So when we sign up, we're creating our own page within our whatever area we want to service. So we're adding to the database then? Is that how that works? By building, going out and building relationships with the builders in our target areas? Is that how it works?
Yep. So and probably a good way of thinking about Hoodle is a web platform for the home building process, but it's realtor led. It's realtor. So, it's for the builders, it's for the new construction buyers, it's for the developers, but the realtors are at the heart of it. So realtors are in the middle of adding this value to all of everybody in every market. Now, it's not that a builder couldn't sign up for themselves, but the realtors really have the lead in opportunity on all of it. And I don't think I answered your question though. What was it? So what you do is when you start, you pick neighborhoods that, and it's kind of messy, to be honest, to find the neighborhoods, because all the time, and I did coaching call this morning down in, where was it? In Houston, I think, with a new realtor that just signed up with us. And she's like, how do I find these neighborhoods? Here's one of the things that will happen though. It happens with everybody. When you start kind of focusing in, you're going to start seeing neighborhoods all over the place. So you're going to go, oh my gosh, I never noticed this before. It was like when you bought that new Lexus and you thought I was the only one that's going to have this, whatever colored Lexus, and now all of a sudden they're all over the road. It's the same thing with this. You start seeing more builders because you never paid attention to it before, you didn't have a need to, and you start seeing more neighborhoods. And so we tell the realtors, pick out neighborhoods that you want to represent and you want to add to Hoodle. Ones where you want to sell, you want buyers and you want to go out and connect with the builders. And the one thing that realtors always go to is they all turn to DR, Lennar, Pulte, KB, the ones that have top of mind awareness with everybody. And so we do a lot of coaching every week. We're coaching every week. We meet at 10:30, at 9:30 on Thursday, and we go from A to Z on which neighborhoods, which builders, which ones are the ones that are going to generate you business the fastest that you can turn into a client. It's not always the biggest ones. It's generally not the biggest ones. But where it starts with the realtors, a realtor picks neighborhoods that are not on Hoodle. It's on a first come, first served basis. So basically you can pick neighborhoods that you want to represent. If it's not on Hoodle, it's yours. And you put a neighborhood on, and then you put another neighborhood on. Every realtor that starts with Hoodle has what we call a dashboard. And so you have your own private place in the back of the website. It's password protected, your password. You or whoever you've got helping you can get into your dashboard and you start to spin up pages. Whether it's like doing a Facebook page. It's very simple. About the hardest part of it is driving out and taking pictures. But shoot, if I'm not going to take pictures or if I don't want to go out to a neighborhood, I probably should not be a new home expert either. I had one realtor that called me not too long ago. She was getting ready to sign up. I think she was out in Vegas, and she called up. She said, and she'd been talking to me for a while. She said, I really want to do this. She called me up the day she was supposed to get started. And she said, well, wait a second, you mean I got to go talk to builders? It's like, only if you want to do business with them. If you don't want to talk to builders, I would say this is probably not the gig for you, but if you want to talk to builders, here's the thing. Every single builder wants to meet with you. And I've had a lot of realtors go, I did that for 17 years. And I couldn't get 5 minutes. They all want to meet with you now. And you're coming in with new and different, and it's about them and they love it. And so that's where it starts with realtors. Right now we've got it set, and this is probably going to change maybe by next week. Right now we're doing kind of a double bonus thing. We said, all right, realtors can have up to 10 neighborhoods. And we decided for a very short period of time, right now, realtors get in, you can have up to 20 neighborhood pages, which is frankly, is probably too much, really, because a lot of realtors, they'll do 5 or 6 neighborhood pages. And if they're operating it and they're going out and meet, it's just, people do 5 or 6 and go, this is enough. I've got enough business going on. I just want to deal with these. but you can have up to 20 as long as they're available. And a lot of times realtors, it happens all the time. It happened yesterday with me that another realtor that signed up down in Florida and joined us. And she said, well, I think all the neighborhoods are taken. There's like 20. It's like, no, they're not. This is the problem. There are tons of neighborhoods that are flying under the radar. There's tons of builders that are flying under the radar. So we can either pretend like they don't exist and just take everybody to the Lennar, or we can go find them and begin to add value. And I tell you what, when you find the right, and you start to get this down, you're talking to the right size of builder, there is a sweet spot. It's not the smallest. It's not I put all builders in 3 buckets, small, medium, and large. And there's a sweet spot right in the center there that if you approach them and it's a growth oriented builder or a builder that's in trouble, and you will walk in and show them what you've got. And very often you're going to walk out with a listing. Sometimes it's not just a listing. Sometimes it's like, hey, you know what? I'd like to do a exclusive marketing agreement for my neighborhood. Would you list all 14 of these lots? And the stories I could tell you just blow me away. I'm shocked by it still. But that's the way it starts. Realtors start. They join in. You join a private community. You have your own place on the website, and you start finding neighborhoods that are not on the MLS or not on Hoodle. I don't care if they're on the MLS or not. You don't have to be a listing agent. You don't need to ask permission for it. Because it's publicly recorded, as long as you take your own photos and write your own copy. So if they have copy, you can go look at their copy and rewrite it in your own language, and you add it to Hoodle, and then buyers start to show up. And the more content that we create, the SEO is like shooting through the roof. And so just more and more buyers that are showing up. And as it gets bigger, here's another thing that I don't talk about often, but I'll share with you guys. As it gets big, market by market, there's more and more PR people that are showing up. They're going, hey, because news media wants to know about where growth's occurring. And if there's something new related to home building, everybody wants to know about it. Well, they don't want to talk to me. They want to talk to you, which is really what I want. So we're training realtors to really become like the rock star of new construction for your market. I want, and we have a lot of realtors that are being invited, just one last week. And one the week before that, one in Atlanta and one in Denver that are being invited to come out and, hey, could you come and talk to the Home Builders Association about this Hoodle thing? That's pretty cool because, all of a sudden you're standing up, creating authority, creating unique value, and creating differentiation. And you're talking to 30, 40, 50 builders, and they don't know me. They don't want to know me. They know you. And you're the one that's bringing the blessing to them and bringing the goodness. So anyway, that's how it starts.
Ron, do you have a link or something? Or we just go to Hoodle and check it out, or how do we get involved?
Yeah, hang on a second. Let me see. I apologize.
No, you're doing great. Go ahead and pop that down in the box, in the chat box. And this is being recorded and we'll get it out to everybody also.
Okay.
So we'll do that. And then Kay asked a question. I think you might have answered it actually, but I'm going to ask it anyway in the chat box. She said, what about builders with their own sales teams? How do you approach them?
So, well, first thing is you create the neighborhood. Okay. And who was it? Gina, was that you saying that?
It was actually Kay on our
Okay.
team.
All right. So the thing I tell realtors to do is create the page. Just create the page. It's public recorded. As long as you took the photos, don't use their logo. Don't use any of their copyrighted information or photos or videos. Create your own photos and take decent photos. That's one thing that we've seen too. A lot of realtors taking crooked photos. Look, the builders are coming and looking at it. They love the concept. And I've had builders to reach out, go, I love this, but who's the realtor? Could I get my realtor to give me some better photos or something? So, we have to be aware that they're watching and they're excited about it. So, but you were asking about if they've got a sales team. So what I tell people to do is create the page and then go out and meet the builder or meet the developers who you want to meet with. And if they've got a sales team, you always want to meet the sales team. You want to make relationships with everybody. The bigger the builder, the harder it is to get to the decision maker. Now, as a salesperson, I want to get to the decision maker. I want, and Of course, I want to meet the community manager and the sales team and the on-site, all the sales and marketing people. But generally, they're not the decision maker on any of it. Okay. So and this gets into kind of B2B selling. And this is one of the things I think is wrong, is that most realtors are not trained in B2B sales. So because of my background as a recruiter, I've known that for 18 years before I was ever doing Hoodle. And so I'm teaching realtors, how do you develop a relationship that gets the builder to want to work with you? How do you attract them instead of chase them? And it's what we call consultative selling. And so I train realtors in how to interview everybody. You're going out and you're interviewing the builder about their business. And by the way, they want to be interviewed. They absolutely want to be interviewed. And I have so many builders that are like, I've been listing with realtors for 24 years. I've never had a realtor that's asked me these questions. And so they just absolutely love it. But if there's a sales team, you want to get to know the sales team, but probably they're not the decision makers. So I won't get into great detail on it because we could do a whole session on this, but I'm going after, if it's a bigger builder, I'm on LinkedIn. And this has to do with gatekeepers and orders of authority and getting to the influencers, who's going to say yes or no in this transaction with me. And, I'm looking for the head of marketing and head of sales. And so not so much the project managers or superintendents or operations manager. And again, it really depends on the size of the company. If it's Bill Smith and Sons, I'm going to go talk to Bill. Bill's the decision maker. That's all I need to talk to. So I'll build relationships down here, but I'm also online starting to connect with in different ways. And that could be a long conversation on how you connect with those leaders. Another thing that you want to do is you want to go to the influencers. You want to find the influencers. Most builders are following the leader. Okay. So they're looking at, well, what are the leading builders doing? Who are the influencers in our market? That's a whole other conversation on how to find them, but you find them, you get them on your team, they start promoting you. Their circle of influence becomes your circle of influence. And so I always tell realtors, don't think of, your circle of influence anymore. The way you want to think about circles of influence is, if Bill is in my circle of influence and Bill's an influencer, or if they're not, who are all the people that they touch? What are all the circles that they touch? I want Bill's circle of influence to become my circle of influence. So I'm on LinkedIn, I find people, I connect with them there. I don't wait for permission. I don't go to the sales rep or the community manager or something and say, will you introduce me to this higher up person? Because, really that's not their call on it. I'm gonna go ahead and make my own introductions. And if they introduce me, then fine, but I don't want to be in a position where I got to wait and they go, no, you can work with me. And someday maybe I'll introduce you up the ladder. So that's a whole other conversation. Any other questions, guys?
I got Kathy also in chat box saying, is this available everywhere?
It's available in the 48 contiguous states. So we don't have Hawaii or Alaska database yet. The way it's set up is, when you go and you set it up, basically the entire United States are databased, every zip code, everything, the whole thing is mapped out. You drop in you just create your page and it says, okay, this is to compare New Mexico. And so all you do is you put an address in for your neighborhood, and the people in that area are going to see your pages. Okay. They're going to see your content. And we have a lot of people that are reaching out from Canada and Australia and New Zealand and every place, India, Norway, it's crazy. And we haven't done any of that yet. We're just trying to, as much as I want to, it's like we have to learn how to do it really, really well in the United States. And so that's my first thing. And by the way, our first user group is you. So we've got mortgage companies and architects and home building products companies and others that are going, hey, can we get in? It's like, yeah, you can. But right now I'm focused on making this really just rock and roll for the realtors. I want the realtors to win. And so, as we get better and better with that, and we're getting more of, realtors getting wins and just more and more stories of, hey, this is working, more realtors are doing it. Then we'll move on. And I think in the last 2 years, I've had 25 of the very top mortgage companies reach out to me at a corporate level. They've said, and they're all companies you would know, Wells Fargo, Guaranteed Rate Mortgage, all over the country, Thrive Mortgage, AmeriFirst, et cetera, going, hey, we went in on this. We went in. And by the way, I mean, we will let them in at some point. And so Hoodle will become really the go-to website for all things home building. We want the buyer to be able to stop at one website and see, here's all the neighborhoods, here's the builders, big and small, here's the handful that do in mortgage, here's the architects, do I need them? And most of all, here's the realtors that specialize in new construction. It'll always stay very exclusive in every market. If there's 9,000 realtors in your market, there'll be 9,000 realtors that can use Hoodle as an outsider, but they won't be a part of it as what we call an affiliate realtor. So the number of realtors that are on the inside, that are creating content, getting buyer leads, getting builder leads, connecting with builders, developers, and buyers, we'll have enough in every market that we can connect with the neighborhoods and the builders and the buyers. And a lot of times I had somebody the other day say, well, how many are going to be in Dallas, Fort Worth? I don't know. I mean, it really depends on how many neighborhoods and builders and buyers there are in each given market. And we're learning that, but it's kind of funny how nobody really knows, very well. And so and part of that too is not everybody realtor wants to do 20 neighborhoods. A lot of them, I've had realtors have done one neighborhood and worked with one builder and turned around and said, hey, this builder's offering me a whole neighborhood. And that's happened multiple times. And by the way, I'll kind of warn you on this too. If you get into it and you start doing it, you're going to get job offers too. A lot of the realtors get job offers from builders where they're saying, hey, why don't you come work for us and, manage this community and stuff. So it's kind of a nice side thing. And a few of them have taken jobs with builders, but.
Thank you. Let me see. I also have ladies saying, can two realtors create pages for the same neighborhood? I'm thinking that that's a no, but fill us in if I'm wrong.
No, that's correct. So we'll only have one neighborhood page per
Neighborhood.
Yeah, neighborhood, right.
Per plat, right?
The difference is there is a couple things. So one, there are some big neighborhoods where there's like the starter home section and the reserves and the move up buyers, and sometimes they got different names for them, sometimes they don't, but it's a different product, it's a different target audience of buyers, different price point, different amenities. So we treat those all as separate pages. If it's got 7 different neighborhoods within one big community, it's 7 pages, because buyers don't want to go and see the 250,000. I don't know if 250 exists anymore, but 300,000 is not going to be on the same page as the $2 million homes. Okay. And and there are also, in a lot of metro areas, there are tear down neighborhoods that you guys are probably familiar with. So vintage neighborhoods where older vintage homes are coming down, there's available lots, and new homes are going up. A lot of realtors, so we've got some realtors just specialize in tear downs. We got a couple of realtors that are just specializing in 55 plus or age in place. And so there's a lot of niches when you get into it. There's a number of new construction sub niches that you could step into and just dominate that thing like that. Because none of the realtors, most of the realtors don't even know, well, who are the tear down builders? Who are the million plus luxury builders? And do I know the difference between 12 of them that are in my market? And so you can very quickly start to become the go-to for all that.
Awesome. And I know that Melanie has been patiently waiting. What you got over there, honey?
Thank you. I have 2 questions, please. The first one is, if you're listing the properties for a developer, are you able to share like what your commission structure is, and when you're listing a lot of different properties, how you're working that end of it? Part 2 of the question is, I looked at some of the neighborhoods to see, like in my area, and a few of the listings actually were claimed, but they didn't have any photos or they weren't built out. So I was just wondering, is there a time limit that you give people who sign up to actually, keep their spot, like as far as that?
Yeah, let me start with the second part of that question first, Melanie. Those are great questions. And one of the things I'll say is it's evolving. Everything is evolving.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's moving fast, it's growing fast, which we're really excited about. And I'm pretty terrified about it as well. Because there's lots and lots of realtors that are joining and the numbers are going up. And so it's, you know, I've never, you know, it's not like there's a YouTube video. I can go watch a YouTube video on how to create a, you know, Airbnb for home building. So we're kind of learning, but we're learning with each other. And the way that I think about this a lot is it's kind of co-creation. Every week we're meeting with realtors, and realtors are saying, well, what about if we do this? Hey, that's a good idea. Let's do that. You know, so you guys are actively involved to the degree you want to be. And not that I can do everything, and I can't do everything on a dime either, but you know, if it's something that's good for all of us and it's good for the other users, I want you to be a part of it. You know, it's kind of like we're partnered in the thing. And so to your point, you know, we're starting to see that, Melanie, that some realtors will start a page and then they don't do anything with it, right? And it just sits there. Well, first that was okay, not okay anymore, because, you know, it's moving fast. And when we start seeing about 15 or 20 realtors join in a local market, it gets like people are calling me up going, I wanted the blah, blah, blah page. Sorry, Melanie just grabbed that a half hour ago. So it literally, I mean, this has happened multiple times. And so I don't want to have to deal with the ire of realtors, but there are what we call orphaned pages or abandoned pages where somebody started, it didn't do anything. Now, on the flip side, if you started a page and I can look on the back of the website and say, well, look, Melanie just started this 3 days ago. I'm not going to like yank this away from Melanie, you know? So, you know, that's your page. And it's not like you don't have a time limit that you can update it whenever you want, as often as you want, as little as you want. I say I'll update it more often and then use it, you know, use it, promote yourself around the neighborhood, do a video about the neighborhood. Hey, everybody, if you haven't seen this new thing, it's called Hoodle. And by the way, there's this new neighborhood that I just put on. My name's Melanie and I'm over at ABC Realty. I don't know who you're with, Melanie. And wanted to show you this incredible new home neighborhood that's in our market right now that's just coming online. You can find it over at Hoodle. By the way, here's my information. And it gives you so many outlets to just blow up your business and blow up your brand. And so no, there's not a set limit, like you got to have it done in 5 days or anything. But you know, if somebody's had it for a couple months and they're not doing anything with it, and at some point I'll probably have to have a come to Jesus meeting with people and say, look, you know, and we tell realtors, just start with 5. You can have 20, but don't, you know, you're much better to just start with 3 or 4 or 5, get those under your belt and learn how to use the thing, learn how to go talk to the builders, start getting some traffic with it. You know, a lot of times people you know, we all want to start with 20 and that just becomes overwhelming. That's 20 neighborhoods you got to go take pictures of, and it's a lot. So the other one on the commissions, I'm not really sure what the question is there, Melanie.
So with I've heard of some realtors, they'll like put the listing in the MLS in for like $500 or something like that, like a flat fee versus like a full listing. So you're doing when you list them, you're doing a full listing, like a regular.
Well, I mean,
I know we can't talk commission.
Well, no, I mean, I can. I'm not a realtor. Huh.
Oh, okay.
So you know, I had one time, maybe 3 weeks ago, I was on the phone with 2 back-to-back realtors, 2 realtors in Texas that were bragging to me that they were 1%ers. It's like, dude, you are bragging to the wrong guy here. You know, I don't respect that. And I don't think you probably respect it yourself. You know, and that goes back to what I started with. You know, realtors think that I got to cut my price. Well, you do that, you also cut your value. Okay. I'm about increase the value for a target audience of buyers and sellers. In this case, guess what? Builders are used to spending money. They're used to buyers that are spending money. And they take a lot of risk. They put a lot of money into building these beautiful, gorgeous homes. And you may think that they want you to work 1%. They don't. They want you to work. They want quality over cheap. Okay. And if a builder wanted me to work cheap, I would be like moving on to the next builder. Okay. So now I'm not a brokerage. So nobody signs up with us as a brokerage. So I'm not in a position to tell anybody, but I would encourage every realtor, start thinking about raising your value instead of cutting your price. You know, that's a lose, lose, lose proposition when you start doing 500. Don't do it. It'll demean your it just like put a depression over you, you know, where you feel like, well, what value do I really have? Don't raise your price. Okay. Just do more.
Love that, Ron. It's a race to the bottom otherwise.
That is exactly right.
Yeah. So Kathy also had a question, and I'm not really sure what this means, so you probably have to chime in here, Kathy. It said you could probably have a team, though, if you have someone you work with, I bet that would work. So I'm not really sure what you're referring to here.
When the other person was asking about having multiple realtors on the
Gotcha.
same page, you know, in the same neighborhood rather, I
Mhm.
expect that even though they can't do that, if she's on a team with other realtors, you could put that on as a team.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. And we have a lot of those. Is it Kathy or Catherine?
Either's fine.
Okay. So Catherine, there are a lot of realtors that have a team, and some of them, and so you can do it either way. If you've got 3 or 4 or 5 people and you want to, you know, have 5 people that are sharing one account, you can do that. There's different ways to do it. You know, you probably don't want to use your email address. You probably want to have a team email address, you know, and give the password to everybody, and people can do it. Other ones are buying multiple accounts, you know, and I mean, we've set the price so silly cheap. I mean, it's like once you get your first deal off of it, you've kind of paid for Hoodle for the next 20 years, you know, with the average commission. I will tell you this, you know, the thing that I am teaching people that I now call builder marketing partner. It's a different approach with builders, and the realtors that take a hold of it are getting big wins. I had one that reached out to me maybe 6 months ago, who's down in Florida. And she called me up one day and she said, man, this really works. I said, what happened? She said, you know, and I teach realtors, go out and interview the builder. You've taken a different approach. You know, and there's a whole series of steps. I can't tell you all of them now, but a whole bunch of things you can do. Don't cost you a dime, but you're creating massive value and massive differentiation for the builder, the developer, and the buyer. And so I showed her how to do this. And she called me up and she said, so she went out and she said, I'm doing what you said, met this one builder. He's what they call a scattered site builder. He's also a small developer. He bought a parcel of land. He's creating a small neighborhood of, I don't know, 20 or 30 houses. And, but he's got lots all over the place. She started meeting with him and met with him, I don't know, 2 or 3 times. Basically, by the time she'd gone through the process, he was saying, hey, why don't you just take over all my marketing? And so she said, I'll do it. And to the point to where she's listing all of his houses, his neighborhood. She's even taking care of leads that didn't come through her. So, you know, and this is a smaller builder. They want an outsourced marketing partner. They just do. If you prove yourself that, hey, I'm different from all the other realtors, I've got a different gig than the rest of them. You know, I'm not bigger, I'm not better, I'm different. I'm taking a different approach. And you demonstrate to them. And she said, the crazy thing, she said she started doing it. And he was like, hey, look, I got these other buyers that, you know, you just take them all. So he's giving her the buyers that she's going to get a commission on. Right. And she said a week later, she got a call from his buddy saying, hey, I heard you're doing this for Bill. Can we do it as well? And now she's working on number 3 or 4. So I'm going to bring her on an interviewer at some point for everybody to hear, but she's actually taken it to the level where we must see every realtor go, which is become the partner. Now, if you only do one transaction, that's cool too. Money's money, right? If you put on a small neighborhood on Hoodle and you get 2 buyers off of it, money's money, commission's commission, right? But my goal for you is to really move into that role where you're becoming more of a marketing partner.
Ron, one of the other questions that popped up, is there a limit to the amount of pictures you can put on the site? Kai's
No.
saying that his neighborhood is usually about 3. Okay.
Yeah.
And then let me see. Everybody, as I'm going through this, everybody wants to know how do we get a hold of you? Because it didn't pop up. It's covered by the Facebook Live. And then everybody also is asking for the cost. I don't know if you're comfortable with talking about that one or not, but I have a whole slew of people asking that one.
Can you see it here?
Well, I don't have you sharing your screen anymore. Can you
Oh, I
drop?
don't know what happened here. Here, I'm sorry, guys.
No,
Here,
that
yeah.
was me. I unshared you.
Oh,
So
okay.
you blame
All
me.
All right.
Okay.
Blame
Oh,
you.
What
Guys,
have we got there? Can we pop it in the, can you tell me what it is and I'll pop it in the chat bar?
yeah, here, and let me put it in there right now. I think here, I
Perfect.
messed this up yesterday. Nelly,
You don't
everyone.
mess that up. We don't want that messed up.
All right.
Ron, on that thing that you have, that you're sharing on the top of it, it says limited time offer for training attendees. Would you address that a little bit?
This is something one of our programmers put on that, here's where we are with it. Okay. We know that we need to raise the price, and we've had it at $39 a month. It's like, it's silly. It's just silly. It's like a charter member pricing, and it works, and people are getting massive value out of it if they use it. And so, in the coming days, probably this week, we're going to raise the price. It's going to be a significant price raise. However, whatever price you come in with, that's the price you keep. So if you join tonight at $39, that is your price for the life of Hoodle. When other people are paying $99 a month, you're still at $39. You get all the upgrades, you get all the stuff, but your price will never go up. And that's the way we want to honor the early adopters. So the price right now is at a monthly basis. And by the way, there's no contract. There's no, if you get on and you're not happy with it in 2 months, then I'm probably not happy. Yeah, I'm not happy if you're not happy. I want you to be happy. I want you to be using it, And so, it's not like you're stuck in it. You just, join and do it. So it's not a big risk. Most of the realtors are joining with this. And a lot of realtors are joining with this. We only did this for 50 realtors, and there's 5 of them left right now. So this was because a lot of realtors were going, can I get a lifetime? I was like, well, okay, $1,000. How's that? And so, there are 5 of those left. And once those are gone, those are gone. There's a lot of stuff that we haven't talked about that you get. I mean, you're part of a private community. We do training every week. There's no additional charge for the course. There's no additional charge for consulting calls. I do a lot of strategy calls with realtors every day. I'm on the phone, and we're moving more and more towards group meetings, though. And so we really push the group meetings. Also, the content that you create on Hoodle gets blasted out all over the place. I'll show you what it looks like. So you're creating pages on Hoodle, and Cindy is taking your pages and creating beautiful quotes out of them and kind of artsy stuff, that is kind of thumb stopper. We have a lot of people that go, wow, this is really interesting. And so it gets them to stop and click through. And these are getting blasted out to Facebook and LinkedIn and Twitter and Instagram. And what's the other one? Pinterest. 6 days a week. Your pages are going out right now. Last time we counted, and I'm not a big analytics person. We've got an SEO analytics person that's joining us right now. And it looks like on all the pages that are going out, we're getting about 300,000 views a month. So it's a lot. And we're really just getting started. But did I answer your question?
Let's
Nope.
go with yes.
Yes. So basically so basically you
Can't see how to join as a realtor.
Yeah, it doesn't, it just says, create your Hoodle account. Are you a
Okay.
developer or home builder, or are you looking for a build?
It says
Good point.
home builder or developer, but doesn't say anything for realtor.
Yes, ma'am, that's right. Because we want to meet the realtors. And so when you sign up, you register, you get a welcome email. Thank you for pointing that out, Kay. You get a welcome email that goes through, here's your private link. Realtors have a private link in the back of the website. So a realtor just can't come on the front of the website and join. A builder developer can. Pretty soon we'll be shutting that off as well. We're doing it a little bit different way. We may put the realtor back on the front of the website, but we want to know who's signing up. And so it's really important. It'll probably eventually get to a place where it's like an application process, because we've only got a limited number of seats in any city, you know, and if you're talking about Houston or Dallas, Fort Worth, there's 45,000 realtors, you know, we probably have space for about 150.
So how do we get connected with you if we're interested?
So if you want to connect with me, I can give you my LinkedIn profile or my Facebook profile. If you want to join Hoodle, if you want to talk about it offline and reach out, let's see here. Let's see.
Perfect. Thanks for putting that in, Ron.
So there's my LinkedIn profile.
Cool beans.
And there's my Facebook profile. And so you'll reach out to me and we can talk about if you got questions you want to discuss offline. And, guys, my goal is for us to be able to step into this space, realtors to be able to step in the space, add a lot more value. And really, you didn't get into this business to wait for a crumb of a commission to fall off the table, which is what a lot of realtors seem like they're doing these days. There is opportunity for us to, especially in new construction, to take a hold of this thing and move your business forward really fast and become the go-to. And that's what I'm trying to help everybody to do. So any other questions?
Yes.
Yeah, go ahead, Kendra. I got a couple more in here. I have a lot, actually. You've sparked a lot of conversation, Ron.
Well, I think that's a good thing. I hope.
I just want to be clear. So we contact you on either Facebook or LinkedIn to sign up as a realtor then?
No, ma'am. No, Kendra, what you do, is that Kendra?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, Kendra, all you have to do is go to this page right here.
Mm-hmm.
And I did you guys get that?
Yeah, I got that page.
Okay, so you go to that page and you sign up right there. You will get a welcome email back. And if you don't get the welcome email, look in your spam. A lot of them, it's hitting their spam. And I just had one yesterday. She was kind of, can't find my stuff. Where's it? It's like, have you checked your email? Oh, yeah, it's in my email. So, but that first email that you get has an onboarding video that says, here's how you create a page. And it has a private link where you can join the website. And it has a getting started document. And it has, here's a link to a private community on Facebook. So we have a private group for affiliate realtors. And here's how to get to the training class. So it's got a lot of stuff in that first video or the first email. And so when you sign up, within 5-10 minutes, you'll get back the email. And once you start watching it, we ask you to watch the video first, or at least start it and get a little bit into the onboarding video, then, get started on Hoodle. And it walks you right through the process, create your bio, start your first neighborhood. It's very simple to do. And then attend the classes. By the way, when you join, I think right now we've got a library of probably, 70 or 80 hours of training on every conceivable topic you can think of related to home builders and how to sell to home builders. And it just continues to grow. So every week we're diving deep in this. And AHB reached out to us last year in the fall of last year, in December, and said, hey, would you guys consider creating a national course for realtors in new construction? So, which I want to do, but I've got so much on my plate right now, I just can't do it. But it's kind of cool because they recognize, and a lot of builders recognize, that we're doing something different, that the realtors here are a different classification of realtors.
Mm-hmm. Hey, Ron, real quick, 2 questions about the site. One, if you stop your membership, the page belongs to Hoodle, not you, correct?
Yeah, we kind of, yeah, it does. But right now, literally, we're just disposing of the photos. So in our terms of service, the way it's set up, but we don't even have the terms of service on it. So we're just deleting out the photos. If somebody leaves, then somebody else can have the page and brings new photos to it, is the way we're doing. When we have the terms of service up, it'll say that though. And by the way, there is an agreement that you can give to the builders a lot of times. So you go out and you introduce what you're doing and you show it to the builders. And one of the things that realtors will do is say, hey, John, is there anything that you'd like me to add? What have I missed? And many times the builders will go, I love it. I absolutely love it. Why don't you go ahead and use our logo? Why don't you go ahead and use our photos? That's fine. But we want, we don't want to go out asking them to do it. We just want to go out there and add value. But we want to honor that you brought the information, and so you keep the information. So
Perfect. Someone else asked if there's like a logarithm or something so that the same site will not get listed twice. Is that with your mapping feature or something, or you've got something in there? So like I can't list ABC home site and then Randy come behind me and list ABC home site.
right, we can see who put it on the first, who
Perfect.
put it on first, and that person is the person that gets the neighborhood. So you're better off to be early in the process in whatever market you're in, because you got better opportunities. I will tell you that a lot of the bigger deals, a lot of the bigger wins are not just going to, all the realtors tend to go Lennar, Pulte, Toll Brothers, boom, boom, and you can do that. And I don't say don't do that, but I can show you how to very quickly start turning business with small and mid-sized builders and developers.
Perfect. And then let me see, I have a question. You said you were a recruiter, who for, or what'd you recruit?
I was with a little company called Management Recruiters, or MRI. And I was fortunate to be one of the top recruiters in the company worldwide for a number of years. And I specialized in embedded software engineering. So I was working with like bleeding edge technology companies. And I did spend a time working in home building as well. I was working with big home building companies and recruited for, and so I kind of knew home building a little bit from that angle as well.
Cool. I'll be calling you for that angle.
Awesome.
And then Vanetta, I see your hand was up also.
Yes, I want to know, how can we tell whether or not a community in our area is already taken? Will we be able to see that before we sign up?
Yeah, well, yeah, you can, Vanetta. It's just, what market are you in?
I'm in the DC metropolitan market, Northern Virginia.
It's wide open. It's wide open. DC is wide open. Okay. And it is a hot market. I think Loudoun County is one of the hottest growing new construction markets in the entire United States.
Okay, you talking my language now.
But I wish it was more sophisticated. It's basically, if there's a neighborhood you want to do, just go on the website and do a search for it. Go pull up the DC area, put in your zip code, and put in the name of the neighborhood. Now, one thing I tell you is make sure you don't have a typo. I had one time where somebody did a typo, and in fact, they had a typo when they created the neighborhood and it was already up. And I felt really, really bad because somebody already had it. So, type it right. And yeah. And I'll say this too, a lot of realtors miss, they think, well, I can see the 19 neighborhoods that I know of are already on Hoodle. They're all taken. It's not even close. It's not even close in most areas. And we hear it all the time. We go to Indianapolis, we go to Nashville, Chicago, St. Louis, elsewhere. And, we'll say, well, how many neighborhoods are there? Well, I think there's 25. No, there's like 1,500, And so, whether it's a big neighborhood or a small neighborhood, you can make money on it. So, but it's wide open in DC.
Thank you.
I love it. All right. Any more questions? And then I'll have one more thing before. Oh, Gilbert's got his hand up.
Hey, Ron, thanks for coming on and sharing this with us tonight.
Thank you, sir.
I'm here in Las Vegas, and there's NHS Pro out here, but I think what differentiates Hoodle from this new home is that you're really working on trying to level the playing field, giving all the different types of builders, from the small to the big builders, equal opportunity. And I noticed there's not a lot going on out here on Hoodle yet.
No, it's wide open. I had somebody in Vegas call me one time here a few months ago and say, "Oh, I love this concept, but it's nothing on the website yet." It's like, for Vegas, it's like, exactly. That's the perfect time to do it, because you're the lead person coming into the market. I'll tell you what, it's incredibly powerful when you're one of the first people, Gilbert, and you're going out to the builders and saying, "Hey, I've been invited to bring this in my market, and I want to show it to you because you're going to want to know about it, John." And they're just like, "Wow, this is cool." I mean, they all want to meet with you. So don't wait until it's all taken, and then come in afterwards. So I think the people that thrive with what we're doing are probably more early adopters. that they want to grow their business. They're ready to do something new and bring something new, but the builders love it. New Home Source that you're talking about is owned and operated by the top 29 builders. So that's pretty much who they cater to. That's their stakeholders. And I would tell you this, Gilbert, from what we've heard, because I've got a lot of builders that reach out to me, we're being kind of watched and followed by New Home Source and by Zillow in particular. We've been approached twice by Zillow. We've been asked to come out to San Francisco and meet with them, not doing it. And, but builders, I've had 2 builders have told me, New Home Source just called me and said, well, how's Hoodle doing this, or how are they doing that? And so I think a little bit that maybe they've changed their model a little bit to be a little bit more inclusive with realtors, but it's not really realtor central or realtor centric. It's like you can drive traffic to their website, but you can't get buyers off of their website. And so anyway, I think it's a pretty big difference ultimately, but I'd love to hear your take on it if you get going with it, Gilbert.
Hey, Ron.
Yes, sir.
This is Gary. I literally just pulled in a driveway. So first of all, thank you from the bottom of my heart for coming to do this. I knew this was going to be a big hit.
Thanks, sir.
So can I get an amen from the audience?
Amen.
Amen.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Guys.
Ron, and I just want to tell you publicly, Zillow I think you did the right thing there, because I'm going to go out on a limb and tell you, I've got an offer for you. You're not going to be able to refuse, right, gang?
Yep.
Outstanding.
All right. Any case, I do have to go in. I left at 4 o'clock in the morning yesterday from Inglewood, Florida.
Wow.
And been traveling 2 days, but I'll catch up with you tomorrow. I'll give you a call, Ron. And then Gina, I know you and I'll be meeting for our executive meeting in the afternoon.
Yep.
But for everybody, you guys stay on. I'm going to go in and try to decompress here. So I just want to say thanks again, and thank you everybody for participating, especially the guests. And I will also give a big shout out to Gina. Everybody give Gina a pat on the back, because
Hey, Gina.
listening.
Oh, Gina.
Yeah, you definitely rose to the occasion for this one. So Gina, you just earned yourself a spot as
I'll take
official
a latte.
host.
I don't want that spot. I'll take a latte spot.
I'm just kidding. I'm just teasing. Well, listen, you guys keep going. Ron, I love you like a brother. I'll give you a call tomorrow, and everybody else, I'll see you definitely next Monday, but also I think Wednesday nights are our Asian attraction meeting. We got some really good stuff there for you, so make sure you're on that. So,
Garrett, stay on for 1 second, because we need to push Brian to happy birthday, Bryant Vasquez.
Oh, Brian, yeah, let's do it. I saw that earlier today. So.
Yep. Happy birthday, Bryant.
Hey, happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Yeah.
All right.
Hey, Gina, I've got a quick question.
Yes,
This is
I see
Teresa.
you, and I see Kathy's hand up too. So what you got, Teresa?
Real quick, what is Hoodle? Maybe Ron can share with us. What is Hoodle doing to advertise their presence in the marketplace as far as getting buyers attracted to looking on their website? How is that information getting out there to the public that, hey, Hoodle is this great resource?
Yeah, great question, Teresa. And it's a long answer but I'll try to keep it at a high level. It starts with very organic. There's really 2 kinds of marketing. There's organic and paid marketing. And so what we have started with and what's built into Hoodle is primarily organic to begin with, and it has to be that way. So the first thing we started with was we want really good content. We want a lot of content around our topic, which is neighborhoods and builders. And the more pages we get, right now there's well over 2,000 new home neighborhoods on Hoodle. So very quickly, we're becoming the top website of all websites when it comes to new construction. Well, that pushes it up in the search engines. Now, we're just hiring a guy right now that's coming on that's all he's going to do is SEO and backlinks and analytics and all kind of geeky stuff that I don't get. And so we had to start it that way because there's really no point in going and taking out ads. And it's like, What market are you in, Teresa?
Sacramento.
Sacramento. So Sacramento hasn't started yet. There wouldn't be any point in me sending, if I send buyers to an empty shopping mall, they're not going to stick around very long, right?
Well, it's going to
So,
start. I just
yeah, we
signed
have to start on the supply side. So it's kind of a unique challenge with a marketplace business like what we have. And so that's, another reason why we started with the realtors. We create the neighborhoods. And as we start getting more and more traffic. So the second thing that happens is viral word of mouth. When this starts growing, buyers hear about it and they know about it and they start attending all over the place. We will eventually, at some point, we will be doing, and we're pushing stuff out in social media, and so are the realtors, and a lot of realtors are doing videos. Hey, everybody, this is Teresa Green. I'm with ABC Realty, and I specialize in new homes, and there's this website. And so it's getting just a lot of, I guess I'd call viral word of mouth, which is ultimately is the best marketing all the time, forever. If you can build, I don't want to say virality, if you can build viral into the system, into the process, then it grows naturally on its own. And so it's a longer conversation, Teresa. I'd be happy to talk to you about it offline, especially if you're a traffic person. Would love to hear your thoughts and ideas on it. But we've got literally the buyers is the easiest part of the equation. It's just the easiest part of it. The hardest part, and the reason there is not a Hoodle before Hoodle is because builders don't want to do this, and neither do neighborhood developers. We can do it for them. We've created a mechanism where we as realtors can do it for them and give them value, and we receive the advantage from it.
Awesome. Thank you so much for that.
Thank you.
Hey, Ron.
Yes, sir.
So I remember in the past, when I had talked to you, we had talked a few times. It was someone that you had coming on that was doing like some ads or whatever, paid ads. Are you still doing that, or did that come to fruition?
No, not necessarily. I mean, we have somebody that can do ads for us. And so we have a lot of people that are coming around that want to do like leads packages for Hoodle and want to do ads. And so I've got a lot of people like that lined up, Craig, that we could do, but we haven't pursued it heavily. Most of my focus has been on how do I help the realtors get the value on their own without having to do the ads. But if you want that, absolutely, I can line you up with people that can sign up ads and manage that for you.
Great, thanks. I'll be talking to you.
Yes, sir. I've been hoping to.
Hey, Kathy, your hand's up. So
Yeah, thank you. And thank you, Ron. This has been great. What I wanted to ask, you may have already addressed and I missed it, but I know you said you could work with neighborhoods and that's the preferred way. What about the small builders that are just building here and there that don't have neighborhoods?
It's a great question, Kathy. And so there are builder pages and there's neighborhood pages right now. By the way, I'll share this with you. When you look at Hoodle, when you really get into it, there's a lot of stuff that's not there yet. I mean, you're looking at about 10% of the website. We've got a whole bunch of stuff that's coming, but we have to build one piece at a time. And so including realtor pages and professionals pages and other stuff. But the place where we start is the neighborhoods, because the neighborhoods address the first problem of the buyers, and because it connects you with the neighborhoods and the builders and the buyers. And you can do those without having to go seek permission. You can't necessarily do that with a builder. Now, there are a lot of builders that you can do builders pages for them, but you got to go talk to them first. And, I couldn't just say, well, here, Kathy, this is a builder that signed up on their own, by the way. Somebody was asking how many photos can they have? This one has right now, like 600, close to 660, and all kinds of galleries, so it's just really an unlimited amount of content. And that's a father and a son and a part-time marketing guy. And so, and a lot of builders say, this is my website. I don't want another website. But, we also have, I tell you, do I have time for one more story, Gina?
I think that you have a very captive audience.
Uh,
Go for it.
So builders will sign up on Hoodle, and as it gets bigger, more and more builders will. And a lot of realtors are saying, well, and brokerages are saying, well, can I buy a package of builder pages? Can I have a bundle back? Yeah, we could do that. You know, you could buy them and you actually, we sell them to the realtors for cheaper than what the builder pays for it. So realtors actually get a discount because we're trying to provide more value to the realtor and through the realtor. And there was a builder that signed up down in Texas. Okay. And he created a page, and so builders can sign up, and he signed up and he put one picture on here, Kathy, right here, nothing over here, nothing down below, one picture. It was like a zoomed in picture of his face with a big smiling, cheesy grin on it. And I sat there and I was like, okay, dude, all right, do your page, you know, and he didn't do it. He didn't do it. And there was a realtor that started at the same time. This was in San Antonio, but the realtor was, you know, she had a broken foot, so it was taking her time to get started and stuff. And I finally, I called up the builder one day and I said, Russell, and he knew who I was. I said, you know, you're a fine looking man, but nobody's going to build a house because that big cheesy grin. And he started laughing. He said, you know, I'm just intimidated by taking pictures. I'm intimidated by the web. I've been waiting for something like Hoodle, but I still don't know how to take pictures. And I love this and blah, blah, blah. And by the way, guys, a lot of builders, that's where they are. They don't want to take pictures. They don't want to learn the web. They don't want to know about SEO or algorithms or any other thing. They just want to build a house. That was this guy, right? And I said, well, look, I said, we've got a realtor that's there in your market. She just started with Hoodle and she's just recovering from a broken foot. If she was willing to do your page for you, he's like, I'll do it. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. You know, he's like, I'd love to have her help. I said, well, she doesn't work for me, but let me call her and ask her. So I call her up, ask her, I said, hey, you know, we've got this builder. He started in your market and he hasn't done his page yet. What do you think about going out and would you be interested in doing his page? She said, I'd love to do his page for him. And so he's paying for it. He's paying for the page. She's going to do the page. I said, now, you know, I didn't have any agreement. I didn't negotiate anything for her. It was just up to her. She goes out and meets with the guy. She calls me back. She's like, this guy's a really good builder and he's underpriced and he doesn't know it, which is crazy, you know, but this was before COVID hit and everything. And she said, you know, it's right when we're starting. She said, he's really good, really nice guy. She said, so I'm going to do his page for him. She said, what else do you think I ought to do? What can I do next? I said, you know what I would do is, why don't you go do an interview with him? And she said, well, what do you mean? I said, I just met with him. I said, no, do a video interview with him. And she's like, well, like what? And I said, well, so we put together a few questions and, you know, talked about it. Her husband was going to go with her. He's going to manage the smartphone and the tripod, and he's going to hit start and he's going to hit stop. And she goes out, meets with the builder. So she calls him up, sets an appointment, and apparently goes out. And I didn't win tracking with it. And next thing I know, I get a call from the builder. And Kathy, the builder, calls me up and he says, hey, Amy was just out here again. And I said, oh, cool. How'd it go? She said, well, she did an interview with me. And I said, oh, yeah, I knew she was going to. How'd that go? He said, man, I love this. I've loved this. He said, I've been looking for a realtor like this for my entire builder career. He said, is it okay if I list a house with her? And I said, you know, that's between you guys, but I know she loves your houses. So, you know, there's a lot of ways, to your question, Kathy, there's a lot of ways that a realtor can step into it with a builder and either manage their page or you put it in your toolbox as part of your listing agreement. If you list with me, I'll not only, you know, I've got access to Hoodle, I'm part of Hoodle, I can do your builder page too. I can put all your homes on, I can do your videos, I can do all this stuff. And it's just, nobody else can compete with it. Anyway, the funny thing was, you know, she called me a few months ago and she said, hey, have you talked to Russell lately? I said, no, did you get your listing? She said, no, but I'm not worried about it. He hadn't done another spec home yet. He's got all these custom builders lined up. So he's not listing those, right? She said, so we'll get a handshake on it. He's going to do it when he builds another spec. She said, I just wanted to tell you, he's now got me looking for 100 acres of land. And she said, I haven't found it yet, but I'm going to find it. And he's listing the entire, it's going to be 200 home sites, half acre lots. He wants me to list the whole neighborhood. So I mean, the stories that are coming back on this stuff, I said, what are you going to do? She said, I need a team. She said, I'm going to have a team. So there's a lot of ways to go after the builders. And we can talk about that another time, but it really starts with the neighborhoods. And so we feel that that's the way we spin up markets, is we start with the realtors start with the neighborhoods, then we go after the builders and buyers at the same time.
Sounds great. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I love this. I love everything that you're talking about and done. I worked for a builder for a year, and I'm just going to say this. Is there any I hope there's not any site agents right now. Site agents, we used to joke and say that this was the noise of a site agent. And that's at 5 o'clock where they're running to their car out the door. Builders are looking for people who want to work, and it wasn't the site agents for the most part. And if I'm offending somebody, I'm really, really sorry. You can kick my butt later and I'll buy you a latte. But this is exactly, I can see exactly what you're talking about and why they'd be looking for this product. So, Benetti,
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
So I see this page, you call this the builder's page. I see this, you have the logo there. How can you advertise
This one here?
a community? I know this one was done by a builder.
Yes.
But I'm saying, as a realtor, you said we can't use their logo, until later we get permission and we shaking hands and, made nice, all that good stuff. But beforehand, how would I go about presenting this particular subdivision without their logo and name?
Well, yeah. Well, on a subdivision, now this is a builder page. On a subdivision, you can put a subdivision up and just don't use the logo. Now, most of the time when you go out and show it to them, they're going to say, yeah, I love it. Just go ahead and use our logo. And so that's mostly what people get, as they go out and you love it. Go ahead, do it, And so they give you the logo. The same thing would be true of the builders, but you can't, with the neighborhood, it's public information. If it's your photos, you could go take a picture of the Chicago Bean or the Sears Tower or any place else, and you can load it up on the web and really. And by the way, a lot of when we started this, there's a few realtors like, well, somebody's got that listed. Shouldn't I go get their permission? Hello, no. Add it to the web, because what happens is, and we've seen this happen many, many times, you add a page, and if you do a nice job with that page, you go meet the developer and say, hey, I just want to show you about something new that's coming to town. And that builder is going, and we've had this happen a lot of times with builders going, I've been listening with Joanne for, all this time. Joanne hasn't done this for me. Why aren't we listening with Bonetta? So you're getting your foot in the door. You're not, it's not like you're throwing somebody under the bus. You're just providing value to the buyers. And but no, I wouldn't say, I would never say go create a builder page without meeting with the builder first. Neighborhood you can, but with the builder, you kind of need to go get established and meet them. And it's very doable. And I can show you how to do it. And there's different ways of doing it, by the way. So there's different ways of getting into that relationship with them. And that would be.
Ron, so where's your information, Ron? I'm still waiting.
What information do you need, dear?
Oh, you got the Facebook and the LinkedIn. Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
here.
in the chat box, it's all in there, and it'll go out tomorrow with the recap. Bev will put in there everything.
All
So you
right,
can
sounds
follow
good.
that.
Thank you.
All right, we got anything else? Ron? That was amazing. I think this might be the longest meeting that we've ever had. And I so appreciate everything that you brought to us. You really have a great product. You really, really do.
You can make me cry, Gina. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ron.
All right. I don't know you guys, but I love you. I hope to be working with you, okay, on your business. All right.
Thank you so much. This is fabulous. Really
Thank
appreciate it.
you.
Thank you so much.
All right. Well, reach out to me if you got any questions. And if you're ready to jump in, then I'll see you on Thursday. Join us on Thursday for our training class, okay?
Cool beans. I'm
Are
sure
those calls recorded?
All of them are recorded. Yeah, they're all recorded. So they go into a library and then, once you get started and you have your first page, we'll do a one-on-one strategy call as well, because I want to know what's going on your desk and what you need to be doing to move forward. So, okay.
Great, thanks.
Okay.
Thank you so much, Ron. Hey, team and guests, have an amazing rest of your evening, and everybody knows what time it is. It is time for pie.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, y'all.
Thanks. Good night. Thank
Thank
you.
you, guys. Bye-bye.
Thank you again.